There's no doubt that soul food has had an influence on American cuisine. When slaves were forced into the New World, they brought their ingenuity, their inspiration, and their influence along with them. Their courage is something that we still marvel at hundreds of years later. In this series, we will explore all avenues of soul food. Some traditional, a couple of key ingredients, and this comes out tasting fantastic. And we will definitely borrow inspiration from other cultures. This is really, really good. Really, and the oven does all the work, literally. Pack your book bag, grab your notebook, and get ready for a ride to one of my favorite educational institutions, Soul Food University. Like classics should be preserved. They're classics for a reason, right? And so when you think about it, really good food is really good food for a couple of reasons. One, it evokes emotions. It puts you into a different place or time, and it really gives you a bit of a reprieve from the craziness of the day. Well, that's what it does for me. And so I decided, let's make today intentional. Let's make today a day where we just chill out, slow down, and make some good food that we feel really good about. You know, eats that are cultural but also classy. That's it, classy food that is also cultural. And I don't think Hoppin John gets any closer to a classic. It's the black-eyed pea, my grandmother's absolute favorite. She'd stew them in a broth with smoked turkey meats for hours until they were thick and creamy, almost like a gravy. Well, we'll use the black-eyed pea, but not stewed. The rice dish gets its start with bacon that cooks until the bacon is crispy. Then I'll continue by sauteing onion, bell pepper, celery, and garlic until they're fragrant. Then I'll add in some rice and the drained black-eyed peas. The whole dish gets seasoned with chicken bouillon and pepper and garlic powder, onion powder, dry herbs, a few bay leaves, a pinch of some oregano, and a pinch of dry basil. That will season that broth perfectly. And when the rice is done, I'll add the bacon in and then fluff the rice. I'll garnish with chopped parsley and then get ready for bites that transform you right back to your grandmother's kitchen table. The perfect partner in crime for this amazing feast is the green tomato. I mean, they're really just regular red tomatoes that haven't ripened yet. They're a little tart and take on whatever flavor you give them. So what we're going to do is simple. We're gonna slice them down and then season with salt, pepper, Cajun seasoning, a little bit of garlic powder, a little bit of red pepper flake. And then here's the key, buttermilk, right? It's great because it's a vehicle to carry the flavor, and it also helps moisten so that we can coat the tomatoes perfectly. I love it when something serves as a dual purpose. So here's the pro trick. Once we coat the tomatoes in the buttermilk, I'll dip them back in the flour and then back in the buttermilk, then into the cornmeal. This is going to ensure that when they fry up golden brown, and when they come out of the oil, I'm gonna drain them on paper towels, and then they get a little sprinkle of salt just for good measure. I'm talking about some good eating. So I know green bean casserole gets a bad rap, but it's good, I promise. And I'll do mine a bit differently. So I'll start by making a roux, which is just flour and butter that get melted together. And then I'll add in half and half. From there, once it thickens, I'm gonna season with salt, pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, and a touch of smoked paprika. I'll add in a handful of grated cheese. In this case, it's smoked Gruyere and Fontina, and I'll mix in the green beans. That gets poured into a casserole dish, and then it's baked off until it's golden brown and bubbly. Trust me, it is the extra addition of the cheese on top. It ensures it comes out of the oven bubbly, hot, and looking perfect. Now, speaking of perfect, Cajun roasted catfish fillets are just as easy to prepare. I'll take melted butter and I'll mix it with garlic, dry basil, Cajun seasoning. And then I'll brush that right over the catfish, right? So then I'm tossing those onto a sheet tray and I'm gonna roast them in the oven. The catfish cooks really quickly, so this one doesn't take any time at all. Plus, here's the great thing. Catfish, farm raised of course, is a super mild fish that tastes amazing by itself. But since it's so mild, you can easily season it with anything and it'll take on that really great, amazing flavor. Speaking of amazing flavor, honey and butter are perfect for my fried biscuit donuts. They're donuts without doing any of the hard work. You just pop open a can of biscuits and then heat the oil. I usually cut a hole in the middle of the biscuit so that they look like donuts. Then I'll fry them up on both sides until they are golden brown. As soon as they come out of the hot oil, I drain them on paper towels, and then right before you're ready to serve them, I'm gonna heat up a little bit of butter and some honey in a pan. Then when it's melted, I'm gonna dip those biscuit donuts into that warm honey butter for an insanely delicious treat. This I've been looking at all day. This is our Hoppin John with the black eyed peas. Oh yeah. There's bacon, so you get that little hint of like smokiness and saltiness. The rice is super tender and amazing. The black eyed peas have a little snap to them, which makes this really, really good. And come on now, Cajun butter catfish. Why not? This is why I love catfish. Sweet, mild, and super fresh. It is absolutely outstanding. And that little Cajun and that butter mixed together is really good. And hanging out next to that is like my green bean casserole, which is just like macaroni and cheese, but with green beans. I'm sorry. It's the smoked Gruyere and the Fontina hanging out in the base of this. Oh my God. I could just eat this. Look at that, by itself. It's so good. Oh, oh, so good. And then a little tomato action, huh? Fried green. You hear a crunch? Beautiful. Beautiful crunch. A little bit of hot sauce, Cajun seasoning. This is where it is. And we have the biscuit donuts, right? With the honey butter. Oh my God. It's so buttery and honeyful. Is that a word? If not, it is now. Dunkin' Who, Crispy Who, these are so good. You gotta give them a try. Now the recipes for everything we've done today, they're gonna be available on the DariusCooks Plus app. You can download it today at the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store. And then there's two things I gotta tell you, as I always do, because I gotta go eat this. Food is my life. Life, it is my food. Until next time, I have to wish you a happy cooking and good eating, y'all. From my heart to yours. Bye, y'all.